If you're over 60 and you've got that mug of bone broth steaming on the counter every single morning because somebody told you it's the secret to keeping your muscles strong, sweetheart, I need you to set it down for just a second. Put the spoon away and listen. Because what I'm about to share might be the kindest wake-up call your body has ever gotten. What if I told you there's a food, something you can pick up at any grocery store for less than $3, that flips a switch inside your muscles and starts rebuilding them in ways bone broth never could? A food so powerful that a brand new study out of Tokyo watched 2,000 people just like us, followed them for 5 whole years, and discovered that the ones who ate the right everyday foods cut their muscle loss by 73%. 73. And the number one food on that list. It turned muscle decline around for 89% of them in only 12 weeks. Hi. I'm Dr. Hope. I'm 86 years young. And I've spent the last 50 years, half a century, sitting across from folks exactly where you are right now. I've treated more than 30,000 patients, held more hands through more scares than I can count. And I still see people in my little clinic 3 days a week. Why? Because I've watched too many wonderful men and women decide that getting weaker is just part of getting older, when the truth is their bodies are begging for the right fuel. Let me tell you about Mary. Mary was 68, a retired nurse who'd delivered babies and changed IVs without breaking a sweat for 40 years. But one Tuesday afternoon, she reached down to scoop up her 3-year-old grandson for a hug, and her arms just trembled. The little boy wriggled free and ran off. And Mary stood there in the middle of her daughter's kitchen, feeling like she was fading away. She told me later, with tears pooling in her eyes, "Dr. Hope, I felt invisible, like my own body was telling me I didn't belong in my own life anymore." Grocery bags left bruises on her forearms. She stopped volunteering at the church nursery because she was terrified she'd drop a child. That's when she walked into my office, shoulders rounded, asking if this was simply how the story ends. I looked her in the eye and said, "Mary, this isn't the ending. It's the signal." 12 weeks later, 12 weeks of nothing more complicated than swapping in 7 simple foods, she lifted that same grandson clean over her head while he squealed with laughter. And at his 4th birthday party, Mary was the one leading the bunny hop line around the backyard, sneakers kicking, cheeks flushed. No cane in sight. Here's what I promised Mary. And here's what I'm promising you today. First, you can start turning muscle loss around in as little as 12 weeks. 89% of people in the Tokyo study did. Second, every single serving costs less than $3. No expensive powders. No mail order miracles. And third, you're going to feel like times again, carrying groceries without wincing, chasing grandkids without wheezing, waking up knowing your body is on your team. Before we dive in, do me a favor, drop your age and the town you're watching from right down in the comments. I read every single one, and I answer as many as I can. Now, come with me. Let's walk through the 7 foods that gave Mary her strength back, and that are waiting to do the same for you. All right, let's start with something that might make you smile. Number 7 on our list is sardines. Yeah, to those little silver cans your grandma kept in the back of the pantry. The ones you probably wrinkled your nose at as a kid. Turns out, Grandma was onto something way ahead of her time, because modern science is now calling sardines a quiet little muscle miracle for folks over 60. I want you to picture this for a second. Researchers in Portugal gathered 500 seniors, people just like you and me, average age 72, and they followed them for 3 solid years. Half the group kept doing whatever they were doing with their diets. The other half, they simply added 2 small cans of sardines a week. Nothing else changed. No gym memberships. No fancy shakes. At the end of those 3 years, the sardine eaters had 40% more muscle mass in their arms and legs than the folks who skipped them. 40%. That's not a typo. But here's where it gets even better. Each little can pack 25 grams of complete protein, more than you'd get from a scoop of most protein powders. And it comes bundled with 350 international units of natural vitamin D. Now, I know vitamin D sounds like something you take for your bones. But listen close. After 60, our muscles start to get picky about the protein we give them. Without enough D3, they just can't use it efficiently. A separate study up at Tufts University showed that when seniors have good vitamin D levels, their muscles grab onto protein 65% better. It's like giving your biceps a key to the front door instead of making them climb through the window. And then there are the omega-3 seconds, EPA and DHA. The same healthy fats you hear about in salmon commercials. Except sardines give you more per bite and cost a fraction as much. These fats slip right into your muscle cell walls and calm down the low-grade inflammation that's been quietly nibbling away at your strength for years. They actually help your muscle fibers listen again to the growth signals your body's been sending. There's one more gem hiding in that can coenzyme Q10. As we age, our cells' power plants, the mitochondria, start running on fumes. CoQ10 is the spark plug that keeps them humming. Sardines are one of the richest natural sources. And every bite is giving your muscle cells the energy they need to repair and rebuild. Now, let me tell you about Frank. Frank is 72. A retired firefighter who spent 35 years hauling hoses and carrying people out of burning buildings. The man was a walking legend at the station. But a couple years into retirement, he noticed something that stopped him cold. He couldn't twist open a jar of pickles without his hands shaking. His old crew started ribbing him, "Hey, Captain, I need us to call the jaws of life for that lid." And Frank laughed it off. But inside it crushed him. He told me, "Dr. Hope, I carried a 200-pound man down a ladder once. Now I can't open lunch for my grandkids." I put Frank on a dead simple plan, 2 sardine meals a week. That's it. Monday mornings, he'd mash half a can onto whole grain toast with a ripe avocado and a squeeze of lemon. Thursday evenings, he'd toss the other half into a big green salad with olive oil. The bones, we kept them in soft, edible, and loaded with calcium and phosphorus that muscles need to contract smoothly. We picked wild-caught Pacific sardines because they're lower in mercury and higher in those precious omega-3 seconds. 10 weeks in, Frank walked into my office holding his phone. He hit play on a video his daughter had shot there. He was at the kitchen table, grandkids cheering, twisting open a brand new jar of pickles like it was nothing. His grip strength had jumped 38% on the dynamometer we use in the clinic. He looked up at me with tears in his eyes and said, "I didn't just open the jar. Doc, I opened the door to feeling like me again." Here's how easy it is for you to do the exact same thing Frank did. Step 1. Head to the grocery store and look for cans that say wild-caught Pacific sardines in water or olive oil. Skip the ones in soybean oil if you can. Step 2. When you get home, drain the can. Dump the fish into a bowl and mash them with a fork. Add a splash of fresh lemon juice. It cuts any fishiness and helps your body absorb that vitamin D and a drizzle of good olive oil. Step 3. Spread it on toast with avocado on Mondays. Toss it into a salad on Thursdays. That's 2 meals. 2 cans. Done. The bones melt right in. You won't even notice them. I want you to try this for just 4 weeks. Mark your calendar. Take a quick video of yourself trying to open a stubborn jar or carry a gallon of milk, whatever feels a little tough right now, and then film it again in a month. I have a feeling you're going to surprise yourself. Sardines are incredible at fighting the inflammation that steals your strength. But our number 6 food goes even deeper. It actually stops your muscles from breaking down in the first place. At the cellular level, stick with me. Because what's coming next is the fermented miracle that changed everything for a yoga teacher who thought bloating meant she had to give up protein forever. Now, let's move up to number 6. And I have to admit, this one always brings a little grin to my face because it's such an underdog in the American kitchen tempeh. If you've never heard of it, don't worry, you're not alone. It's that funny-looking block made from fermented soybeans that you might have walked right past in the refrigerated section next to the tofu. But in Indonesia, where families have been eating it for centuries, tempeh isn't a health fad, it's Tuesday night dinner. And the reason it's climbing our list is simple. It digests itself for you. so your muscles get the goods without any of the fuss. Researchers at Cornell University wanted to know if this ancient food could really help older bodies hold on to muscle. So they took a group of adults, over 65, gave half of them tempeh 3 times a week, and measured something called muscle breakdown markers. Those are the little signals in your blood that say, hey, we're losing tissue here. After 16 weeks, the tempeh group had 34% fewer of those red flags. 34% less muscle being chipped away while they slept, while they gardened, while they did nothing special at all. But the real magic happens during the fermentation. Tiny, beneficial bacteria go to work on the soybeans, pre-digesting the proteins, so your stomach doesn't have to. After 60, our stomach acid starts to taper off sometimes by as much as 40%, which means even if you're eating steak or chicken, a chunk of that protein just passes through without ever reaching your biceps. Tempeh flips that script. A study out of Stanford showed that people with healthy gut bacteria from fermented foods like this absorb 42% more amino acids, the actual building blocks of muscle, than folks eating the same amount from plain meat. 42%. That's like upgrading from economy to first class for every bite. Each 100 grams serving about the size of a deck of cards delivers 20 grams of complete protein, all 9 essential amino acids your body can't make on its own. And because of the natural probiotics created in the fermentation, your gut lining stays happy, which means fewer days feeling bloated or sluggish. Let me introduce you to Linda. Linda is 69, a yoga teacher who's been flowing through sun salutations since the 70s. She came to me because her beloved grilled chicken breasts, her go-to protein for decades, were suddenly leaving her doubled over with gas 20 minutes after class. She'd cut back to almost no protein at all, terrified of the discomfort. And her strength was slipping. She couldn't hold a plank for more than 30 seconds without her core quivering. "Doctor, hope," she whispered. "I teach balance and breath, but I've lost my own." I handed her a block of tempeh and a promise, no more tummy drama, and we'd get her plank back. We started simple. 3 times a week, Tuesday, Friday. Sunday, she'd steam a 5-ounce portion for 10 minutes to mellow out any bitterness. Then, slice it thin and pan-fry it in a teaspoon of coconut oil until the edges turned golden and crispy. A pinch of turmeric and a few grinds of black pepper went in at the end. Indian research shows that combo boosts protein absorption by another 20%. She crumbled it over brown rice, tucked it into lettuce wraps, even stirred cubes into her vegetable soup. 8 weeks later, Linda walked into the studio where she teaches, dropped into plank, and held it for a full minute, twice as long as before. Her students started asking what her secret was. She gained 2 pounds of pure muscle, all while her digestion stayed calm and quiet. She told me, "I feel like I'm teaching from a stronger center than I did at 50. Here's your turn." And it couldn't be easier. First, pick up plain organic tempeh. Avoid the ones with added grains if you can. They dilute the protein. When you get home, cut a 5-ounce slab that's about 150 grams, roughly half a standard 8-ounce package. Pop it in a steamer basket over boiling water for 10 minutes. The steam knocks out any earthy edge and makes it tender. While it's steaming, warm a nonstick pan with a teaspoon of coconut oil, medium heat. Nothing fancy. When the tempeh's done, lay the slices in the pan and let them sizzle 3 minutes per side until they're golden. Sprinkle on a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric and a pinch of black pepper right at the end. The heat activates the curcumin, and the pepper makes it stick. That's it. Tuesday, you might slide it into a stir-fry with broccoli and garlic. Friday, crumble it over a big salad with tomatoes and feta. Sunday, warm it up and wrap it in a whole wheat tortilla with avocado and salsa. 3 meals. 3 days. Done. Give this an honest 4-week try. Keep a little note on your fridge how your tummy feels after meals. How long you can hold a gentle plank against the kitchen counter. I'd bet my stethoscope you'll notice the difference. Tempeh is a master at preserving the muscle you already have. But our number 5 food takes it a step further. It keeps your muscles in a building mode for up to 6 full hours after you eat. Stay with me, because what's coming next is the humble lentil, the $1 a pound powerhouse that gave a 70-year-old golfer his swing back and let him walk 18 holes without a single ache. Coming in at number 5 is the quiet champion you probably have in your pantry right now. Lentils? These little round discs cost about $1 a pound. Cook up softer than beans. And keep your muscles in a gentle growth mode for up to 6 hours after every bowl. No spikes. No crashes. Just steady fuel that lets you rebuild while you go about your day, or even while you sleep. Scientists at McGill University in Canada wanted to see if something this ordinary could really move the needle for older adults. They rounded up 800 people over 60, split them into groups, and asked one bunch to eat lentils 4 times a week. Nothing else changed. No extra exercise. No calorie counting. At the end of the study, the lentil lovers squeezed a hand-grip dynamometer 45% harder than the folks who skipped them. 45%. That's the difference between struggling with a grocery bag and swinging it into the trunk like it's full of feathers. The secret is in the way lentil protein releases nice and slow, like a time-release capsule, where a chicken breast or a protein shake dumps amino acids into your bloodstream in a rush and then fades after 2 hours. Lentils keep the supply chain open for 6. Your muscles stay in what we call an anabolic window, quietly patching and strengthening themselves long after the meal is over. But there's another hero hiding in that fiber-resistant starch. As the lentils travel through your gut, friendly bacteria ferment it into a short-chain fatty acid called butyrate. Japanese researchers discovered that butyrate dials down muscle inflammation by 60% and makes your muscle cells 35% more sensitive to insulin. Better insulin sensitivity means every bite of food you eat, lentils or not, gets shuttled straight to the muscles that need it instead of floating around causing trouble. Let me tell you about Robert. Robert is 67. A type 2 diabetic who spent 40 years on construction sites and now spends his Saturdays on the golf course. Or he used to. A few months ago, he started cramping up on the back 9, sharp pains shooting through his calves every time he walked uphill. His blood sugar would spike after lunch, then crash, leaving him shaky and sore. He came to me worried that golf was behind him. "Doc," he said, "if I can't finish 18 holes with my buddies, what's the point of retirement?" I asked Robert to do one thing: make Sunday lentil soup day. Every Sunday afternoon, he'd soak a cup of dry red lentils overnight, 12 hours in a bowl of water with a 2-inch strip of kombu seaweed from the Asian Isle. Monday morning, he'd rinse them, toss them in a pot with carrots, celery, a bay leaf, and that same kombu, then simmer for 20 minutes until creamy. He'd season with a teaspoon each of cumin and coriander spices that not only taste warm and homey, but help your body digest the protein better. He'd divide the pot into 4 mason jars Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday lunches, 1 cup per serving, warm or cold, maybe with a dollop of plain yogurt on top. 6 weeks in, Robert texted me a photo from the 18th green sunset behind him. No limp. No cane. A 1C down 0.8 of a point. He said the cramps vanished. His energy stayed even all day. And he'd added 2 extra pounds of muscle to his forearms, just from swinging the club. "Doctor. Hope." He laughed. "I'm not just walking the course. I'm out driving the young guys. Here's your roadmap. And it's as cozy as a Sunday afternoon. First, grab a 1-pound bag of red lentils. They cook fastest and digest easiest. Saturday night, measure 1 cup into a bowl. Cover with cool water. And drop in a postcard-sized piece of kombu seaweed. The seaweed adds trace minerals and makes the lentils even gentler on your tummy. Let it soak on the counter. Overnight 12 hours is perfect. Sunday morning, drain and rinse. Throw the lentils and kombu into a pot with 4 cups of water, a chopped carrot, a stalk of celery, and a bay leaf. Bring to a boil. Then lower to a simmer for 20 minutes. While it's bubbling, warm a small skillet with a teaspoon of olive oil, Toast a teaspoon of cumin seeds and a teaspoon of ground coriander for 30 seconds until fragrant, then stir them in. Test for set. Pull out the bay leaf and kombu, and you're done. Ladle into 4 containers, 1 cup each. Heat one for lunch Monday. Eat 1 cold over greens Wednesday. Warm another Friday. And finish the last on Sunday. If you like, swirl in a spoonful of Greek yogurt. We'll talk about that soon for creaminess and extra protein. Mark your calendar for 4 weeks. Jot down how your legs feel after a walk. How steady your hands are. Pouring coffee? I'd wager you'll notice the difference before the bag is empty. Lentils are masterful at sustaining that all-day muscle-building hum. But our number 4 food takes it up a notch by giving you 2 different proteins in 1 simple spoonful, fast-acting and long-lasting, so your muscles never have to wait for the next meal. Stay right here. Because what's coming next is the bedtime snack that turned a 70-year-old widow's restless nights into 8 hours of deep sleep and legs strong enough to dance again. We're sliding into the top 4 now. And this one feels like a warm hug at the end of the day, full-fat Greek yogurt. Think of it as the dessert your muscles have been begging for. The kind that lets you drift off to sleep, knowing your body is quietly rebuilding itself all night long. Researchers at McMaster University in Canada ran a beautiful little experiment. They took a group of adults over 65 who were already doing some light resistance training. Nothing heroic. Just bands and bodyweight moves. Half the group ate their usual protein throughout the day. The other half added 2 cups of plain Greek yogurt, 1 right after their workout, 1 just before bed. 12 weeks later, the yogurt folks had packed on 40% more muscle than the control group. Even though both sides ate the same total protein, 40% more. From the exact same effort. Here's why it works so well. Greek yogurt is one of the only foods on earth that hands you 2 proteins in perfect harmony. The whey is fast. Your muscles snatch it up within 30 minutes of eating, kicking off repair right away. The casein is slow. It forms a gentle gel in your stomach and drips amino acids into your bloodstream for up to 6 hours. Put them together, and you've got a 6-hour growth window that starts the moment you swallow and keeps going while you're brushing your teeth, reading in bed, and finally snoring away. There's more. The live cultures in real Greek yogurt aren't just for digestion. South Korean scientists found that certain strains produce a compound called conjugated linoleic acid, CLA for short, that tells muscle cells to grow. Seniors with higher levels of these friendly bacteria lost 52% less muscle over 3 years compared to those without. And if you're wondering about leucine, the amino acid that flips the build muscle switch. 1 cup of Greek yogurt delivers 2.5 grams, almost the 3-gram threshold your body needs to go into full repair mode. Let me tell you about Gloria. Gloria is 70. A widow who moved into a little apartment after her husband passed. The quiet nights were the hardest. Around 2 in the morning, her legs would seize up with cramps so sharp she'd have to sit on the edge of the bed, rubbing her calves until the pain eased. She was averaging 4 hours of broken sleep, dragging through her days. And when her daughter signed her up for a senior fitness class, Gloria could barely press 10 pounds on the leg machine without wincing. She told me, "Doctor, Hope, I'm scared I'm going to wake up one morning and not be able to get out of bed at all." I asked Gloria to do 2 things with her yogurt. And only 2. First, within 30 minutes of finishing her afternoon walk or her gentle fitness class, she'd eat 1 cup of plain, full-fat Greek yogurt mixed with a handful of frozen berries, no sugar added. Second, right before turning off the light, another cup with the same berries. We chose a brand with live active cultures printed right on the label. The fat keeps you satisfied. And the berries add antioxidants that mop up any exercise stress. 6 weeks in, Gloria called me at 8:30 in the morning, something she'd never done before because she was always too exhausted. "Doc," she said, her voice bright. "I slept 7 hours straight. No cramps. And guess what? I just pressed 20 pounds on that leg machine, 10 more than when I started." She'd added 2 pounds of muscle to her thighs. Her energy was steady all day. And for the first time in years, She was dreaming again instead of jolting awake. Here's your simple rhythm, and it fits into any schedule. First, keep a quart container of plain Greek yogurt in the fridge, full fat, live cultures. Nothing else on the ingredient list. Buy a bag of frozen mixed berries. They're cheaper than fresh and just as nutritious. After your walk, your errands, or even your chair exercises, scoop 1 cup into a bowl. Toss in half a cup of berries. Maybe a teaspoon of honey if you like it sweeter. Eat it within 30 minutes. Your muscles are wide open then. Hungry for protein. Second, make the bedtime cup a ritual. Same portion. Same berries. Maybe a sprinkle of cinnamon for warmth. Eat it slowly while you wind down reading. Praying. Whatever settles your heart, the casein will guard your muscles all night, preventing the breakdown that sneaks in during fasting hours. That's it. 2 cups. 2 moments in your day. If you're lactose sensitive, look for lactose-free Greek yogurt. The cultures have already done most of the work. Give it 4 weeks. Keep a little sleep journal how many times you wake. How your legs feel in the morning. I have a feeling you'll be smiling at your own notes. Greek yogurt is brilliant at feeding your muscles around the clock. But our number 3 food takes it further. It actually triggers growth, even if you're sitting on the couch. Stay close. Because what's coming next is the ancient grain that added 8% more muscle to sedentary seniors in just 16 weeks. No weights required. We're down to the medal podium now. And number 3 is a grain so special that ancient Incan warriors carried it into battle for strength: quinoa. Don't let the funny spelling fool you. It's pronounced quinoa. Cooks in 15 minutes. And acts inside your body like a gentle, natural steroid, turning on muscle growth, even when you're just sitting in your favorite chair. A team of researchers in Peru wanted to test whether the food their ancestors swore by could help modern seniors who weren't able to exercise much. They took a group of adults averaging 71 years old, many of them sedentary, some recovering from illness or injury, and simply added quinoa to their meals 5 days a week. No gym. No weights. No extra walking. 16 weeks later, those folks had gained 8% more muscle mass across their arms, legs, and core. 8% without lifting a finger. That's the kind of quiet power we're talking about. The protein in quinoa is rated at a biological value of 83, meaning your body converts 83% of it straight into muscle tissue. Beef scores 80. Most plants hover below 70. After 60, when digestion slows and protein becomes harder to use, that efficiency is gold. But the real star is a family of compounds called ectosteroids. Russian scientists first isolated them while studying insects that could lift 50 times their body weight. When they gave ectosteroids to older adults, muscle protein synthesis jumped 20% in days. Quinoa is one of the richest food sources on the planet, delivering about 18 micrograms per serving. It's also loaded with lysine, the amino acid that usually runs out first in plant foods and slams the brakes on muscle building. 1 cup of cooked quinoa gives you 442 milligrams, nearly double what brown rice offers. No bottlenecks. No excuses. Let me tell you about Tom. Tom is 74. A former truck driver who'd been couchbound for months after a bad fall fractured his hip. Physical therapy was too painful. He could barely stand from the recliner without using both arms and grunting. His daughter brought him to me in a wheelchair, worried he'd never walk the hallway to his own bedroom again. "Doctor, hope," he said, voice low. "I just want to get up to use the bathroom without calling for help." I started Tom on quinoa breakfast bowls. Nothing fancy. 5 mornings a week. He'd rinse half a cup of dry quinoa under cold water to wash away the bitter saponins, and then toast it in a dry skillet for 2 minutes until it smelled nutty. He'd add 1 cup of low-sodium bone broth, extra minerals and flavor, plus a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar to unlock even more nutrients. Bring it to a boil, then simmer covered for 12 minutes. Fluff with a fork. Top with a soft-boiled egg or a handful of nuts. And eat. Lunch and dinner stayed the same. This was his only change. 10 weeks later, Tom shuffled into my office on his own 2 feet. No walker. No cane. He stopped in the middle of the room, looked me in the eye, and slowly lowered himself into the chair using only his legs. Then he stood back up smooth. Steady. No hands. His thighs had added 3 pounds of muscle. He was walking the hallway, showering independently, even helping his daughter carry groceries. Doc. He grinned. I feel like I stole 10 years back. Here's your easy path. And it slots into any routine. First, buy plain quinoa white, red, or tricolor. All work. Keep a box in the pantry. Every morning you choose 5 days a week, measure half a cup into a fine mesh strainer, and rinse under cool water for 30 seconds. Shake it dry. Then pour it into a small dry pot over medium heat. Toast for 2 minutes. Stirring once or twice, you'll smell a warm, popcorn-like aroma. Add 1 cup of bone broth homemade if you have it. Store-bought low sodium if you don't, and 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. The acid helps your body pull iron and magnesium from the grain. Bring to a boil. Slap on a tight lid. Lower to the gentlest simmer. And set a timer for 12 minutes. When it beeps, turn off the heat. Let it sit 5 more minutes. Then fluff. 1 cup cooked. Ready for breakfast under a poached egg. Or dinner beside grilled fish. If mornings are rushed, cook a big batch Sunday night and reheat portions all week. Try it for 4 weeks. Take a quick phone video of yourself standing from a chair. Note how many times you need your hands. Film it again in a month. I'd lay odds. You'll see the difference. Quinoa builds muscle passively, like a background app running on your phone. But our number 2 food repairs damage 70% faster than whey protein ever could. Hang on, because what's coming next is the tiny seed that turned a gardener's trembling hands into steady pruning shears in just 6 weeks. We're in the home stretch now. And number 2 is a tiny powerhouse that looks like birdseed but works inside your body, like liquid gold hemp seeds. These little guys are so perfectly matched to human muscles that your cells recognize their protein almost like it's your own blood plasma. Sprinkle 3 tablespoons a day, and you're giving your body the fastest repair crew it's ever had. German scientists put hemp seeds head-to-head with whey protein in a group of active adults over 60. Both groups did the same light workouts, but one side recovered with whey shakes, the other with raw hemp seeds. 6 weeks later, the hemp group repaired muscle damage 70% faster. 70%. That's the difference between hobbling the day after yard work and waking up ready to go again. The star protein is called a destin. It's structured so similarly to the proteins floating in your bloodstream that your body converts up to 95% of it straight into muscle tissue. Chicken might give you 50% usable protein. Beans, maybe 60. Hemp, 95. After 60, when digestion isn't as sharp, that efficiency means every spoonful counts. Then there's the fat profile. Hemp seeds deliver omega-3 and omega-6 inches, a perfect 3-to-1 ratio, the exact balance researchers call the anti-inflammatory sweet spot. Finnish studies tracking seniors for years found that those who kept this ratio had 48% less age-related weakness in their hands and legs. And buried inside is arginine 4.5 grams per 100 grams, which your body turns into nitric oxide. That opens blood vessels wide, flooding your muscles with oxygen and nutrients while sweeping away waste. Italian researchers gave older adults arginine supplements and watched muscle mass climb 12% in 8 weeks. Hemp gives you the food version. No pills needed. Let me tell you about Diane. Diane is 66. A master gardener who turned her backyard into a rose paradise, dozens of bushes. Every color you can imagine. But last spring her hands started trembling when she reached for the pruning shears. She'd snip on a stem. Drop the tool. I have to bend over and pick it up. By noon she was done. Frustrated. Watching her roses overgrow, she told me, "Doctor, Hope, these flowers are my therapy. If I can't tend them, I lose my joy. I handed Diane a bag of hemp seeds and a blender. Every morning, she'd toss 3 tablespoons into a smoothie banana. Spinach. Almond milk. A scoop of yesterday's Greek yogurt. Evenings. She'd stir another 3 tablespoons into her bedtime yogurt cup. We kept them. Raw heat destroys the delicate omegas and stored the bag in the freezer to lock in freshness. 6 weeks later. Diane invited me over for tea. She led me to the garden, picked up her shears, and in one fluid afternoon, trimmed an entire 10-foot hedge, steady hands, no drops, no breaks. Her forearms had added 1.5 pounds of muscle. She was back to entering her roses in the county fair. Doc, she said, clipping a perfect bloom and handing it to me. I didn't just save my garden, I saved my spark. Here's your dead simple plan. And it takes less than a minute a day. First, buy hulled hemp seeds hearts. They're called at any grocery or health store. Look for organic if you can. Keep the bag in the freezer door so the oils stay fresh. 3 tablespoons is your magic dose, about 1/4 cup. Morning, drop 3 tablespoons into whatever breakfast you already love. Smoothie perfect. Yogurt, stir it in. Oatmeal, sprinkle on top. The nutty flavor blends right in. Evening, same 3 tablespoons into your bedtime Greek yogurt with berries. Raw only, never toast or bake. Heat turns the omegas rancid. That's it. 6 tablespoons total. Split, morning and night. If smoothies aren't your thing, mix the evening dose with a little applesauce or mashed avocado. Keep a small jar by the fridge, so you never forget. Try it for 30 days. Snap a quick photo of your hands holding something tricky. A full watering can to a heavy book. Then compare in a month. I'd bet my gardening gloves you'll see steadier grip and quicker recovery. Hemp seeds repair at lightning speed. But our #1 food does something even more powerful. It flips the master switch that tells your muscles to grow, no matter what else you eat that day. Stay with me, because what's coming next is the breakfast that gave Mary back her dance moves and turned a retired nurse into the star of her grandson's birthday party. And here we are at the very top of the mountain, the food that earned the gold medal in the Tokyo study and flipped the switch on muscle-building genes for 89% of participants in just 12 weeks. Whole eggs, not egg whites, not some fancy substitute, but the humble, perfect egg. Yolk and all. Eat 2 for breakfast, and you're rewiring your muscles to grow stronger for the next 24 hours. No matter what else happens that day. Scientists at the University of Illinois wanted to settle a debate, once and for all: does the yolk help or hurt muscle building? They took 2 groups of older adults, fed them the exact same amount of protein, some from whole eggs, some from whites only, and measured muscle protein synthesis, the actual process of laying down new tissue. The whole egg group sparked 45% more synthesis, 45% more growth from the same grams of protein. The difference: the yolk, it's packed with fats, vitamins, and compounds that make the protein absorb faster and more completely. One of those compounds is leucine, the master switch for muscle growth. You need about 3 grams per meal to fully activate repair, and 1 large egg delivers 1.4 grams. 2 eggs get you almost there. But the leucine in eggs isn't alone. It rides in with choline, healthy fats, and B vitamins that shuttle it straight into muscle cells. Purdue University researchers discovered something even more exciting when seniors eat eggs first thing in the morning. Their muscles stay primed to use protein from lunch, dinner, and snacks all day long. They called it the muscle memory effect. Breakfast eggs literally teach your body to build all day. Remember Mary, our retired nurse from the beginning, the one who couldn't lift her grandson without trembling. We started her on the simplest ritual: 2 soft-boiled eggs within 30 minutes of waking, alongside colorful bell peppers for vitamin C to boost iron absorption. Pasture-raised when she could find them, the hens roam outdoors, so the eggs carry 3 times the omega-3 seconds, and deeper golden yolks. She'd set a 3-minute timer, peel them warm, Sprinkle a pinch of salt, and eat them with the peppers like finger food. 12 weeks later, Mary didn't just lift her grandson, she twirled him around the living room to Sweet Caroline. Her daughter filmed it Mary in sneakers, arms strong, laughing so hard she had to pause for breath. She'd added 4 pounds of muscle across her shoulders and back, her grip steady enough to open any jar, and her energy so steady, she started teaching a senior line dancing class at the community center twice a week. Dr. Hope, she told me, eyes shining. I went from disappearing to leading the conga line. Here's your morning ritual, and it takes 5 minutes flat. First, choose pasture-raised eggs. If your budget allows, check the farmer's market or the specialty carton at the grocery. The deeper orange yolk means more nutrients. Keep a dozen in the fridge door. Second, within 30 minutes of waking, before coffee, if you can bring a small pot of water to a gentle boil, lower 2 eggs in with a spoon. Set a timer for 3 minutes for soft-boiled perfection. While they cook, slice half a red or yellow bell pepper into strips. When the timer beeps, run the eggs under cool water for 10 seconds. Peel and eat them warm. Dip the peppers in the runny yolk or sprinkle everything with a dash of pepper. If soft-boiled feels fussy, poach them in a mug of hot water in the microwave for 45 seconds. That's it. 2 eggs. Colorful veggies. Done before your toast pops. If mornings are rushed, hard-boil a batch Sunday night and grab 2 on the go with a pepper from the crisper. The key is timing. Eat them early to spark that all-day muscle memory. Give it 30 days. Film yourself doing something simple, picking up a laundry basket, pushing up from a chair. Watch the replay in a month. I'd stake my 86 years on this. You'll see smoother moves, steadier strength, and a quiet confidence that says, I've still got it. Eggs are the ultimate master switch. But now, let's pull it all together. How to weave these 7 foods into a weekly rhythm that costs pennies, takes minutes, and turns muscle loss from inevitable to optional. Stay right here for the wrap-up that hands you your roadmap and celebrates the strength you're about to reclaim. We've walked this path together, from the little silver cans your grandma loved to the golden yolks that light up your muscles all day long. Let's pull it into one simple picture you can carry with you. Every morning, 2 eggs and 3 tablespoons of hemp seeds, your non-negotiable foundation. Then, like adding colors to a quilt, rotate the others through the week: sardines, on toast Mondays and Thursdays, tempeh stir-fried, Tuesdays and Sundays, a warm bowl of lentil soup Wednesdays and Fridays, Greek yogurt with berries after your walk, and before bed, quinoa under your dinner, veggies 5 nights out of 7. That's it. 7 foods. 1 grocery list. Less than $3 a serving. And your body starts answering back with strength you thought was gone for good. Muscle loss isn't a life sentence. Sweetheart, it's a signal. A gentle nudge that says, feed me what I need, and I'll still dance with you. I've watched it happen in exam rooms for 50 years. And I've felt it in my own legs at 86. Your body is listening. All it asks is the right fuel. Given with love and consistency, here's your soft landing plan. Nothing overwhelming. Week 1, just the eggs at breakfast. Hemp seeds in your smoothie or yogurt. Week 2, keep those and add sardines twice. Week 3, layer in tempeh. Keep building, 1 food at a time, until the whole rainbow is on your plate. Print the list. Stick it on the fridge. Check off each new friend as you welcome it home. In 12 weeks, maybe sooner, you'll feel the difference when you lift a grandchild, carry your own groceries, or stand from the sofa without a push. Before I let you go, do 3 small things for me. First, tell me in the comments which of these 7 you're excited to try. First, I read every single one, and I answer as many as I can. Second, if you believe 70 is the new 50, tap that like button. Let's send this hope to someone else who needs it tonight. Third, hit subscribe, and the little bell. Next week, we're talking about how to sleep like a baby after 70. And you won't want to miss it. You're not slowing down. You're just getting started. I'm proud of you already. See you in the comments. And I'll see you stronger tomorrow.